back to the channel. It's your girl Bambi, and today I'm coming back to you with another hair video. So we are approaching my 8th year as a natural, and I started to think back about all the things that I've learned over this course of time, and I just thought it would be easy. Had I known this information in the very beginning, my journey would have been a breeze. So what I did was I took some time, I jotted down some of those top things that I think all naturals or those transitioning into being natural should know or will want to know that could probably make their journey easier too. So I'm just going to refer to my list. I'm going to share my thoughts, and then you comment and let me know whether or not you feel that any of the information I shared was helpful. So let's begin. One of the first things that I wish I would have known when I was transitioning to becoming natural would have been that, hello, I don't know why this wasn't like obvious, but I was gonna have to style 2 different textures of hair. So there was the hair that was straight and permed versus the hair that was growing in that was textured. It was curly, it was wavy. And let me let you know right now, that's not easy. You want to get a wash and go? Not happening, because guess what? It's not cute to have straight ends. You want to do a twist out? That's probably your best bet. But if you don't get it just right, then it's probably going to be, it's going to look like there's 2 different textures, and that's not what you want. So if I would have knew that, there's certain techniques that kind of help out with the whole transitioning process, especially when you have the 2 different textures of hair, it would have made my world so much easier at the time. The other thing that I really needed to accept was just the fact that you're going to have a whole lot of confidence to go natural. It's not, well, now it is. I was getting ready to say it's probably not the norm, but I think now more so, being natural is very mainstream. And so you don't get like the head, turns, or you don't necessarily feel like you stick out like a sore thumb. Maybe it depends on the environment you're in, but it is acceptable to be natural in a lot of different places, and it's common. You see it a lot, but you have to be confident with a change. When you're used to your hair being a certain way, pressed, blown out, curled with a flat iron, curled with a curling iron, wearing weaves. So basically you have a different texture, fine hair, wavy, voluptuous curls, that is more of a European style. And you decide, I'm not going to do that any longer. I'm fine with, my hair not appearing to be a certain length, etc. It takes just confidence to be able to walk around with, your hair either being very short or, not being as easy to manage as others. And so getting used to the fact that, hey, every curl does not have to be perfect. I'm not looking for perfection. I just want to be who I am and wear my hair the way it grows out of my head. It took a long time to be able to get to that point. And I mean, that's something that for me, I learned years in going through this whole transition, especially because, again, I was dealing with the 2 different textures of hair. But on top of that, I needed to redefine myself, like what was beautiful to me, what did I think looked good on me? Because guess what? Here's another thing that I learned. What works for her and what looks good on her may not necessarily be what's for me and what looks good on me. So, any of the advertisement that I would see, or different people on TV, etc., where you think, here's another thing, that, natural hair really only looks good if you're like biracial and you have a certain curl pattern. And those are all the different stereotypes that fit in, or at the time, when you're not necessarily, I don't want to say educated, but you're naive to certain things or ignorant to certain things. You sometimes may go along with the stereotype or have assumptions about things. And for me, it took some time to recognize that what's mine is mine, and it's good because of the fact that it's mine. I can't covet what someone else has and want what someone else has, because quite honestly, it doesn't matter what product you have or what technique you may use, but you may not ever get what that next person has, and you have to be okay with that and accept that. And it took a long time, not a long time, but it took some time to get there and to be okay with that. um, the other thing that I needed to learn, or wish I knew at the very beginning, was products do matter, but it's not the end all be all. Again, um, you're going to go through a lot of different stages where you're trying a lot of different things. Like you see the advertisement that, you use this product, you get this certain result. And you think, hey, I'm going to go ahead and grab that product because that's the result that I want. And sometimes you could, kind of be upset or disappointed if in fact you don't get that result that you saw on TV, that next model had, or, that actress or whatever the case may be, the result that she had. It just didn't turn out that way for you. And that's because, again, like I mentioned a few moments ago, is that it's not just about the product. It matters, but the other piece that matters is also the technique that you use. So that was something that I had to learn along the way during my own journey. The other thing was just being patient as well as being consistent. I mean, and those are two key concepts that we need in life anyway, but especially when it comes to natural hair, because it does take time and practice to, one, get to know your hair, two, learn what your hair likes, what works well with your hair. And then three, just what, you feel like looks good on you. And again, that might not necessarily be what you're seeing around you. You have to step out of your comfort zone when it comes to wearing your own natural hair or styling your own natural hair. It takes time to get in a comfortable space. And so you can't care what other people say. You can't care what other people think, but you have to be okay with it and you have to accept it. And so, again, that took some time to get there and to be able to accept those things. I also had to learn, or I wish I would have known at the time, that heat was the absolute enemy. When you're really trying to get a good regimen going and train your hair, my advice and what I think I learned during the way was, you don't want to continue to go back and forth between, well, I'm going to go ahead and take the chemicals out of my hair so that my natural hair will grow in, but then I'm just going to go ahead and destroy all that progress I made by putting heat in my hair. Heat is the enemy. That's what you learn as a natural, or as you're transitioning into becoming natural, is that you want to avoid heat as much as possible. And that's what makes it hard, because when you're used to styling your hair a certain way, whether you're doing it yourself or you're going to a professional to get it done, and you realize that that's something that you need to completely eliminate, that's not easy to deal with. However, it's going to put your hair in the most healthiest state that it could possibly be in, or the healthiest state that it could possibly be in. And so those are the things that you're really looking for. That's what you want. As far as length goes, it does take some time to, again, learn what regimen works for you, so that your hair is healthy and you can retain length. And a lot of the times that doesn't mean that you always constantly have your hair out. You're constantly wearing those wash and goes. You're constantly, wearing your hair so that your fro is out and, it's rubbing against the different fabrics or whatever that you're wearing, or you're not sleeping with a bonnet at night. Those are all the types of things that can, make your journey to retain length a struggle. And again, it took time, like years, to learn that and to realize that if I don't stay on top of what I need to, I'm not going to see the results that I want. And that's in anything in life, but especially when it comes to natural hair. So being consistent and patient is key to getting through this journey with the least amount of bumps and bruises as possible. Now, there are going to be some bumps and bruises. There are going to be some disappointments. There's going to be times where you're going to work so hard on a style and you feel like you did everything right to prep, and it just doesn't turn out the way you expected it to. but that's okay. You have to accept it. And sometimes it has to be, you know what? Whatever the hell comes out of this bonnet when I take it off, or once I undo these twists and take that scarf off, is what the world is going to get. And that's just going to have to be okay. So that's all I got for today, you guys. Please do share your thoughts, comments about the things that I'm saying, what your experience was like, was going when you went natural. Talk to me about, you know, what are your concerns or your fears, or what are some of the things that you need to know, or what questions do you have about going natural? Because I'd love to be able to share my experience with you. I do have another video coming up where I'm actually going to take you guys through my natural hair journey. So I'll share some pictures, because in the beginning, honey, it was rough. And so I do want to share those experiences with you. But until then, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.